Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. This week's video is going to be a reader slash bookish would you rather. So I thought this would be really fun to do, and I thought it'd be kind of fitting just because I'm going to be answering some questions and you guys will kind of get to know a little bit more about me and like my reading tendencies. I thought it would be fitting because this month, technically on the 18th, is my 6-month YouTube anniversary. It's crazy to say that. I just kind of realized it the other day, that I will have been on YouTube for 6 months in July. So that's crazy to think about. Before I even started my channel, I promised myself that if I was going to do this, that I would, stick with this for a year. Like, I promised myself I'm going to do this for a year, and if I, feel like it's not really going anywhere, or if I'm just like not enjoying YouTube anymore at that point, then I would, kind of slow down my uploading. But being consistent has been hard at times. Like, there have been some like months where I'm like, oh, I don't know what to film, or I really don't feel like filming. But yeah, that said, these past 6 months have been insane. I feel like so much has happened in like my life, but I'm really grateful for this platform because it's given me kind of an outlet to share my thoughts, and I've been able to make some really cool friends on here. So yeah, it's been a really fun time. So I hope to continue to put out some good content for you guys, hopefully get better at all of this. So yeah, thank you for bearing with me for however long you've been watching, even if you've just been watching these first few minutes. It's a crazy time around here if you're brand new. Yeah, you'll probably see me stumble over words in this video because I'm doing a lot of talking. But I'm good. The energy levels are up today, so we're just going to ride that wave. That said, again, I'm going to be kind of going back to my roots here. I started out by always having a drink, so I thought we would bring back that tradition today. I am drinking an iced matcha latte. I have been obsessed with matcha. I feel like every summer I kind of like get back into this, just because I love coffee, but it doesn't do anything for me energy-wise anymore. I feel like in high school I drank coffee way too much that it just doesn't do anything for me anymore. So I have been mixing in like matcha, just because it's a little bit healthier for you than my usual energy drinks. So yeah, I've got the matcha in the background, and yeah, I think we should go ahead and get started. The first question is, would you rather read hardback or paperback books? This is tricky because the collector in me prefers to collect hardback books. Like, if there's an option to get hardbacks, like, I'm always gonna go for those just because I like how they look on the shelf and they just feel like better quality. But as for reading experience, I prefer paperbacks just because it's a little bit more flexible. Like, I tend to read like even when I'm like laying down in bed, and like hardbacks are just a little bit more fiddly to deal with. So I guess in terms of reading, I prefer paperback, but it does kind of make, I do tab my books, so it makes tabbing, like when I have to put them back on the shelves, I'm like, I'm gonna bend the tabs. That's the one thing, I guess that's why I prefer collecting. Another reason I like to collect hardback books is that you kind of have a little bit of that overhang of the front and back panels of the book to kind of like shield the tabs that kind of stick out. So but yeah, in terms of reading, I prefer the reading experience of a paperback. Anyways, I feel like I answered that so many times. I really need to make my answers short and concise. Okay. The next one is, would you rather crack the spine of a paperback or ruin the dust jacket of a hardback? Oh man. Neither. I'm the type of person that like I will get like older books. Like I have a few like vintage books and they're kind of like messed up, but I don't mind it in that sense. But I don't like to be the one to damage a book. Like I cannot. Cracking the spine of a book just feels so wrong. But typically another reason why I like hardbacks is because they tend to have like a pretty dust jacket, and you know what, I'm gonna go for, I would rather ruin the dust jacket of a hardback, because even if that's ruined, you still have the structural integrity of the book still intact. So yeah, if you crack the spine of a paperback, you're gonna see that on the shelf, and that just looks ugly in my opinion. So as hard as it would be to have the dust jacket all ruined and thrown away, I'm just gonna have to pick that option, because cracking the spine of a book just feels so wrong to me. Like maybe one day I'll grow out of that. I don't think so, but I don't understand how people crack the spines of their books. Like you do you enjoy what you enjoy, but I can't. It feels wrong. Alrighty, next. Would you rather jump on board with a book series and wait to see if it gets traction, or wait for a successful book series to be brought to your attention? Let me think about this one. If you just kind of jump on board with a book series and then let's say it doesn't turn out so great, it would feel kind of like a waste of time. But I don't know, I guess in terms of what I already practice with books that I tend to buy, I typically buy books that have been like very heavily recommended. So I guess while I feel like I would prefer the first option, I tend to follow more of like waiting to get a whole bunch of like recommendations to read a book, because I don't know, I'm not gonna like everything that everybody else likes. Like that has definitely happened, but I would rather have a book kind of have like good reviews before I get into it, just because I feel like I'm not gonna have that much time to read as much like in the future. So I feel like I wouldn't want to feel like I have wasted time, if that makes sense. But I'm all for like supporting smaller authors and artists. But for what I tend to do, I would rather wait for something to be recommended to me in that way. So yeah. Would you rather, I can't read that. Would you rather read duologies, trilogies, or standalone books? This is interesting. It really depends for me. I have to be like in the mood for like, having multiple books that I have to read to get a complete story. I think I prefer reading standalone books. As much as like one of my favorite like pieces of literature that I've read is a trilogy, as much as I enjoy having like multiple different books to read to get an entire story, most times I really just want to sit down and just have the entire story in one book right there. So I prefer standalone books, but that said, one of my favorite things that I've read is a trilogy. So next one is, would you rather read fantasy or sci-fi books? I have not read a lot of fantasy. I've read more sci-fi. So I guess in terms of what I have preferred previously, I'm gonna say sci-fi. Those just tend to be a little bit, easier for me to like grasp onto. Like, I really want to get into some of like Sarah J. Maas, some of her work. But like some of those high fantasy, I feel like I wouldn't be able to like get with it just because I don't know, like super intricate stories like that are sometimes really hard for me to follow along with, and I tend to like lose interest. So I would definitely say that I prefer sci-fi books. Like even in movies, if I apply this to movies, I prefer do I do. I prefer sci-fi movies and books. So next we have, would you rather have to read your least favorite book every month or never be able to read your favorite book again? This one's kind of easy. I would rather read my least favorite book every month because I would not want to never be able to read my favorite book again. And I feel like if you are kind of forced to read your least favorite book every month, there's probably a chance that you end up finding something that you like about it. And I feel like if you read it multiple times over, you would be able to like pick out certain things and start to appreciate things in the story. I feel like the more you reread something, the more you notice and kind of pick up on like some of the nuances and things like that. So yeah, I feel like that one was easy. I would definitely have to reread my least favorite book every month. Next, would you rather have your favorite book turned into a movie or a TV show adaptation? My favorite book is Pachinko, and that is, has been turned into a TV show. The second season, I think they're currently filming that. In general, I would say I prefer things to be turned into movies because I'm more of a movie person. I don't like it. I really go through seasons where I prefer movies or TV shows, but I generally enjoy movies better. I feel like this sounds bad, but I like don't feel like I haven't had the like attention span to read a TV show. That makes a lot of sense. Watch a TV show, and it's kind of like the thing where I prefer reading standalone books. Like I prefer to just experience an entire story in just one go. Or if it has to be like a trilogy movie, like how it was with the Hunger Games. Well, that was 4 movies, but yeah, I tend to prefer movies over TV shows, but sometimes with certain stories, there's just no way around it and you have to do a TV show. Like with Pachinko, since it is a generational story, it takes place over the course of many years, so I feel like they had to do a TV show to fully reproduce that story in a filmed format. So sometimes it's necessary, but in terms of what I prefer movies. And the last one that I will answer will be, would you rather secretly love a book everybody hates or secretly hate a book everybody loves? I really don't care about that. But I guess secretly love a book everybody hates. Yeah, either way, I wouldn't really care. Like there are plenty of series that I have read and like books that I have read that people absolutely love and have raved about, and I have read them or experienced them, like even with anime, Attack on Titan. that I have experienced and I just did not like, for whatever reason it was. And you know, is there a series that I like love that people don't tend to like? Not really. I mean, maybe Mint Chocolate, but that one is not very popular. I guess because whatever I have heard people whenever people have talked about that series, they tend to not like it, but that's because it's got kind of a controversial topic in it, so I can understand why people wouldn't like it. The topic doesn't really bother me, so I really enjoy it, so I guess that's the only like experience I have with that. I'm sure there's another one that I'm just not remembering, but yeah, I guess that's the only one, at least of the things that I'm looking at my shelves right now. But yeah, I really don't care about that. I have definitely gotten some I've had some conversations on my you know, not enjoying of Attack on Titan. But you know, if you want to have another conversation about that, you know, drop a comment and I will you know, I'll give you my reasons. But I think I might have explained it, or maybe I just like went off and had like individual conversations. Anyways, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed or found it fun. Let me know if you want me to do another one of these. But yeah, again, thank you guys for sticking around here for however long you've been watching. And yeah, I hope to get back to you guys with some well filmed and well thought through videos. I feel like I've kind of been in a little bit of a slump with that, so yeah, I will get to work on that. And yeah, I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you guys next week. Bye guys.